Hi, this is Donna. Welcome to DD Paper Crafts. And in today's video, we're going to be making this box, which was inspired by several tea bag holders, which I saw on Pinterest. The box has a flip lid. The front panel folds down like so, and then you have three divided sections which were used for tea bags. My thought process is I'm going to use one section for tea bags, one for a small jar of jam, and one for a small jar of clotted cream. The box is 8¼ inches long, 3 inches deep, and 3¼ inches high. And I have made this specifically to suit my size of tea bag. So you can adjust the various sizes of the box as you need to and add as many dividers as you need depending on your gift. So without further ado, let me show you how I put the box together. We're going to start by making what will be the flap of the lid, the top of the lid, the back of the box and the base of the box. I have a piece of cardstock which is 8¼ inches by 10 inches, and along the 10-inch side I'm going to score at 3/4, 3 3/4 and 7. For the additional base strengthener and the front flap, I have a piece which is 8¼ by 6 inches. Now, if you don't want to add the strengthener element in, you'll need a piece which is 3½ by 8¼ and you'll score along the 3½ inch side at 1/2 inch. But if you're going to use the base strengthener as I am, along the 6-inch side, score at 3 inches. So one of these sections is going to sit underneath the base and then the flap will come round across the front. For the sides of the box, you'll need two pieces, which are 3 3/4 by 3½. Along the 3 3/4 inch side, score at 1/2 inch, and along the 3½ inch side, score at 1/2 inch, and do that on both pieces. And to finish the lid, you'll need two pieces, which are 3½ by 1¼ along the long side, score at 1/2, and along the short side, score at 3/4. For the front divider support, you'll need a piece which is 9¼ by 1½. Along the 9¼ inch side, score at 1/2 and 8 3/4. And along the short side, score at 1. Finally, for the dividers, you'll need two pieces which are 7 by 3½. Along the 7-inch side, score at 1/2 inch, 3½ and 6½. Rotate and along the short side, score at 1/2. Take the largest piece, fold and burnish all of the score lines, and decide at this stage before we start construction whether you want to add an aperture design into the top of the lid. For instance, you might want to cut a rectangular or a shaped aperture and then add some acetate behind. So you want to do that first before we start construction. Take your base piece, which is the 6-inch piece, and fold and burnish along the score line. And then take your two side pieces, fold and burnish along the score lines, take your scissors and cut away the square in the corner where the score lines intersect, and cut a wedge from the ends of each of the 1/2 inch glue tabs. Do that on both pieces. This is our lid back and base. What I'm going to do is add the side panels. So this tab section is going to sit underneath, and this tab section is going to sit against the back of the box like so. I'm going to add glue to the tabs, sit the base on top of the glue tab. Make sure the front is lined up. Do the same for the other side. And then once those two side pieces are secure at the base, I will add glue to the glue tabs, and then one by one I'm going to pull up the sides, pull up the back of the box and secure the side panels in place. Once I'm happy that's in place, I'm just going to go in and burnish down the tabs, and my lid is going to come up and over and will sit on top like so. I'm just going to fold back the lid and burnish it so that moves backwards and forwards freely. I'm now going to take the base piece, add glue to one of the 3-inch panels and sit it over the base of the box. It's enclosing the glue tabs for the side piece. Fold the front flap down so it's sitting squarely, and then I'm going to go in with my score tool and just burnish that down into place. We're now going to finish the lid. Take your two pieces which were 3.5 by 1.25. You've already got the front lip and we're now going to create the two side lips for the lid. Fold and burnish along the score lines. Take your piece so your 1/2-inch tab is on the left and on the bottom, and cut away the intersecting square like so, and then take a wedge from the ends of each of the glue tabs. So what will happen is this end that doesn't have a glue tab is going to sit at the back of the lid and the back of the box. We'll use this long glue tab to adhere the piece to the inside of the lid, and then this small glue tab will adhere the side piece to the front flap of the lid. So that will form the lid like so. Add your glue to your two tabs. Lay the box down because it's easiest to work with the lid flat. My raw edge is towards the back of the box and I'm lining up the score line of the lip up with the outside edge of the lid. Push the smaller tab towards the middle and then bring up the front flap of the lid. And you want to make sure that that's as lined up and square as possible. Once I'm happy, I'll burnish that down. And then repeat the process for the other side of the lid. If we spin our box round, we've got our inner of our box. The front flap will come up like so, and our lid is going to come across the top, and the flaps will come along the outside edges of the box and secure the front flap in place like so. Take your front divider strip, fold and burnish along all of the score lines. Cut away the intersecting squares on the ends like so, and then cut a wedge from the ends of each of the 3 glue tabs. Add glue to each of the tabs, and we're going to sit it into the front of the box. The small glue tabs are going to adhere to the side panels, and the longer glue tab is going to adhere to the base. Make sure that the score lines line up with the front edges, and make sure that the front edge does not sit across the score line for the front flap. When you're happy, just go in and burnish, and you can see if you lift the front flap up, that's not impeded in any way. Whilst that's drying, we'll make our dividers. Fold and burnish all of the score lines, and you want the middle score line to be a mounting fold, and the 2 end tabs are valley folds, and the bottom is also a valley fold. Take your scissors and with your 1/2-inch tab in front of you at the bottom, cut up the central score line to the 1/2-inch horizontal. So this now allows this base tab to separate. Cut away the intersecting corners at either end, and then cut a wedge from the ends of each of the glue tabs. We're now going to shape our divider. Fold your divider in half, and I'm going to measure along 2 inches from the right hand side, like so. Rotate the piece, and I'm now going to measure along 2 inches from the left hand edge. Using your trimmer or scissors, we're going to cut diagonally between the 2 pencil marks, so we're cutting away the corner. So that's our divider. Remove any of the pencil lines you might have. We're going to secure the piece together, so I'm adding glue to the inside. This is going to add some strength. If I'm going to be putting a small jar or something in, I don't want that flapping around. My dividers are going to be 2 3/4 inches apart. I'm going to use my ruler and make a pencil mark just along the front edge, just in front of the divider support at 2 3/4 and 5 1/2. And then I'm also going to do the same along the back edge. I'll add glue to these 2 tabs here and to the 2 tabs at the bottom, and then I'll add a thin bead of quick grab glue along this folded edge. I'll then use the pencil lines along the back and along the front edge to help me line up my dividers. Once they're in place, I can push forward the front divider support, and that will catch on to the front of the divider. Once I'm happy, I'm going to lay my box flat and go in and burnish down all of the tabs. And then I'm going to work on the second divider. I've now got my dividers in. I'm now going to go ahead and finish the decoration of my box, and then I will come back and show you the final piece. Here's my finished decorated box. I've added DSP onto all sides, but for some reason I've forgotten the back. And I've added it round to the lips of the lid. The lid fits snugly, the front flap drops down, and I've also added DSP onto the inside of the divided sections. And overall, I'm really happy with how this box has come out. As I said at the beginning, you can adjust the size accordingly to suit your gifts and adjust the number of dividers you do or don't choose to add into the box. I hope you've enjoyed today's project. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. And until next time, thanks for watching.